She is not defined by what she wears or how loud her presence is. Her strength is not thunderous, but steady. It is not found in dominance, but in devotion. She rises while it is still dark, not just to prepare food, but to prepare peace. Her hands move with purpose. Her heart moves with prayer. She watches over her household, not as a warden, but as a guardian of joy and order. The world may overlook her, but heaven sees her as rare treasure, worth more than rubies. She is clothed with strength and dignity. Strength not as the world defines it, but as God infuses it. It is not born of pride, but of perseverance. She does not crumble in adversity. She does not panic when the future is uncertain. Instead, she laughs, not because life is easy, but because her soul is anchored. She fears the Lord, not in trembling, but in awe. Her reverence becomes her radiance. Her humility becomes her beauty. Her trust becomes her triumph. Her words are not careless, they carry weight. When she speaks, people listen, because what comes out of her mouth is filtered through wisdom. She doesn't just teach with her tongue, she teaches with her life. Faithful instruction pours out from her daily choices. How she treats others, how she responds to chaos, how she continues to show up when no one is watching. Her kindness is not soft or weak, it is deliberate. She does not enable sin, but she does not condemn the sinner. She carries grace like a lantern, shining light without scorching heat. She is not idle. Her work may be invisible to the world, but it is seen by heaven. She is a builder, a provider, a weaver of peace in a home that needs consistency more than luxury. She stretches out her hands to the needy, not out of guilt, but out of genuine compassion. She knows that dignity is not only in having enough, but in giving, even when no one says thank you. Her generosity is not performative, it is part of her fabric. Many women do noble things, but this woman surpasses them all, not because of achievement, but because of alignment. Her heart is aligned with the heart of God. Her beauty is not merely the reflection in the mirror, it is the reflection of her Creator in her choices. She does not chase after empty praise. Yet her children rise and call her blessed. Her husband praises her, not for how she looks, but for who she is. Her reward is not in applause, but in the echo of eternity. She is building something that does not burn: legacy, integrity, and honor. She is the quiet revolution in a noisy world. She is the woman of Proverbs 31. She does not compete, she completes. Not only her husband, but the purpose she was created for. She does not need to prove herself because her life speaks louder than her words ever could. She knows that her worth is not transactional, it is eternal. She was not made to impress, but to impact. She was not called to be like everyone else, but to be faithful to the image of God stamped into her soul. Her presence in the world is not accidental, it is an assignment. Her strength is a quiet defiance against despair. When storms come, she anchors deeper. When others retreat, she remains. She does not collapse under pressure because she is rooted in truth, not trends. She builds with what she has, not with what she lacks. She faces each day not with fear, but with preparation. She is not anxious about tomorrow because she has sown faith into today. Her calendar is not filled with empty hustle, but with holy intention. She is not small. She may live quietly, but her influence stretches generations. Her legacy cannot be measured in followers or fame, but in faithfulness. She plants seeds that grow in silence: kindness, resilience, discipline, mercy. Her children remember how she made them feel safe. Her friends remember how she made them feel seen. She walks in wisdom, and wisdom walks with her. She is a woman of the word. She hides scripture in her heart, not to boast knowledge, but to battle lies. She speaks truth into chaos. She lifts others without lifting herself up. She is not defined by what the culture says about women, wives, or mothers. She is defined by what the Creator has declared. She is not perfect, but she is present, not flawless, but faithful. She is not a product of this world, she is a signpost pointing to something higher. She flourishes not in isolation, but in communion. The text tells us her husband trusts her fully, and that trust becomes fertile soil. It is not control that shapes her, but confidence. He does not stifle her, he honors her. He is not threatened by her strength, he blesses it. His praise is not flattery, it is recognition of her godly excellence. In that environment of respect and stability, she rises. His voice calls forth her virtue, not by demanding it, but by believing in it. In a world where women are often diminished, she is magnified. not by her husband's power, but by his partnership. And in that rare union of mutual honor, she becomes more than even she thought possible. Not because he made her great, but because he made space for her greatness to unfold. She carries herself with purpose because her life is anchored in something deeper than mood or moment. Her value is not dependent on who notices her or who affirms her. It is rooted in her maker. She knows where her help comes from. She knows who sustains her through seasons of lack, silence, or sorrow. And because she knows, she is unshakable, not untouched by pain, but undefeated by it. She weeps when needed, but she does not wither. Her tears water the ground she walks on, making it holy. She is a mirror of heaven's quiet power. She is not loud, but her life echoes. Not famous, but her presence is unforgettable. Not untouchable, but unmistakably consecrated. Her joy does not come from ease, it comes from endurance. Her beauty is not fragile, it is forged in the fire of obedience, humility, and love. She is rare, not because she's flawless, but because she is faithful. She is not chasing perfection, she is embodying purpose. Each day is an offering, not to impress the world, but to serve the Lord. Her home is not a showroom, it is a sanctuary. Her life is not curated for applause, it is consecrated for worship. The meals she prepares, the schedules she keeps, the burdens she carries, they are not small in God's eyes. They are sacred. Her hidden work is holy work. Her unnoticed sacrifices are seeds in the soil of eternity. Even when no one thanks her, even when her efforts go unseen, she remains steady. Because she is not working for recognition, she is working from devotion. She knows that true greatness is often quiet, often misunderstood, and always rooted in love. She does not need the stage, she carries the spirit. Her excellence is not for display, it is her default. Not because she is trying to be someone else, but because she is walking in who she was created to be. She teaches not by command, but by consistency. Her children learn integrity by watching how she handles pressure. They learn compassion by how she speaks to the broken. They learn faith by how she prays when things don't go as planned. Her life is a living curriculum, and every gesture becomes a lesson in grace. She does not need to raise her voice to raise a standard. Her very presence is formation. Her strength is not just in what she does, but in what she restrains. She does not gossip. She does not lash out. She does not waste words. She does not collapse into bitterness when overlooked. Instead, she absorbs pain and turns it into prayer. She takes injustice and turns it into intercession. She does not let hardship define her. She lets it refine her. She is not reactive. She is rooted. And because she is rooted, she is ready for anything. She is not led by the trends of the times, but by timeless truth. Her compass is not popularity, but righteousness. She doesn't follow the crowd, she follows Christ. When others waver, she stands. When others compromise, she remains. Her fear of the Lord is not superstition. It is reverence that shapes every decision, every word, every step. This is the fear that makes her wise, the awe that makes her radiant. She does not just survive seasons, she sanctifies them. In abundance, she is grateful. In scarcity, she is faithful. In success, she is humble. In sorrow, she is anchored. She has learned the secret that strength is not found in how much she controls, but in how much she trusts. And because she trusts, she is free. Free to love without fear, free to serve without resentment, free to build a life that outlives her name. She lives in such a way that her legacy is not written in stone, but in souls. She does not need monuments because her impact is etched in the hearts of those she touches. Her hands may be weathered from work, but they are holy from blessing. Her voice may not echo through halls of fame, but it echoes in the quiet places where healing begins. She is not forgotten by God, even when she is forgotten by people. Her reward is not temporary, it is eternal. The Lord sees her. The one who formed her, called her, and walks with her, delights in her faithfulness. While others chase what fades, she holds fast to what lasts. She is a reflection of the wisdom that cries out in the streets, yet dwells in the hearts of the humble. And when her days are done, her life will not close. It will continue in every life she lifted, every soul she nourished, every truth she lived. She is not seeking to be elevated, yet she is exalted. Not by her own ambition, but by the fruit of her faith. Her children do not just admire her, they rise because of her. Her husband does not merely acknowledge her, he is strengthened by her. Her community may not always understand her, but they are steadied by her quiet witness. She is the foundation others stand on, the shelter others run to, the wisdom others draw from. And yet, she remains humble. She knows all that she is a gift. Her strength is borrowed from the one who strengthens her. Her beauty is a reflection of the one who formed her. Her virtue is not for her glory, it is for his. She lives not to be praised, but to point upward. And in that posture of surrender, she becomes radiant. More than admired, she becomes eternal. She wakes not for applause, but for purpose. Each dawn is not a demand, but a devotion. She does not measure success in accolades, but in obedience. Her hands prepare food, fold laundry, steady the trembling, wipe away tears, and each gesture is worship. Her posture is prayer. Her pace is peace. Even when the world moves fast and forgets her, she does not forget who she is or whose she is. She is a keeper of sacred things, of memories, of moments, of mercy. Her life teaches that holiness is not always loud, and goodness is not always glamorous. She walks through the mundane as though it is a temple, because to her, it is. Every task is touched by eternity when done in love. Every sacrifice is a seed. Every day is a gift returned to the giver. And in this rhythm, she becomes not just a wife of noble character, but a woman after God's own heart. She does not wear a crown, but she carries a kingdom, not built by power, but by prayer, not held together by might, but by mercy. She is a steward of love in its purest form, steadfast, sacrificial, and sacred. Her heart is an open door, not for everyone to trample through, but for those who need shelter, healing, and hope. She is not passive in her goodness. She is fierce in her fidelity. Loyal in storm, loyal in silence, loyal in seasons when loyalty costs the most. She does not ask to be honored, yet honor finds her, not because she demands it, but because she deserves it. The world may reward the loud and the visible, but heaven crowns the faithful. And she is faithful, in the small things, in the slow things, in the sacred things. She reflects a God who sees in secret and rewards in fullness. Her life is not a platform, it is a promise kept. A testimony lived, a song of praise that rises, one quiet verse at a time.
She is a living invitation to a higher way. While the world applauds performance, she walks in presence. While the world scrambles for success, she kneels in surrender. Her wisdom isn't from books or trends. It flows from time spent in quiet with the Lord. She listens before she speaks. She prays before she plans. Her strength doesn't roar, it anchors. It holds firm when others drift. It carries others when they can't carry themselves. She doesn't need to make a name for herself because her life is already bearing the name of the one she serves. Her beauty radiates from the inside out, not in glitter, but in grace. It is the beauty of someone who has learned how to love deeply, forgive quickly, and endure silently. She does not throw her pearls before swine. She guards her heart not out of fear, but out of wisdom. She doesn't belong to everyone. She belongs to God, and that belonging shapes how she shows up in the world. She gives with discernment. She speaks with discernment. She surrounds herself with what nourishes her soul, not what numbs her wounds. And because of that, her life is full, not of noise, but of meaning. There is a holy confidence about her, one that doesn't shout but steadies. She walks into a room without needing to take it over. Her peace speaks for her. Her character speaks for her. She does not need to prove anything, because her life proves the fruit of discipline and devotion. Her past may hold pain, but she carries no bitterness. She has let go of what broke her and held on to what shaped her. She is not defined by what she has lost, but by what she has chosen to carry with love. She is not waiting for someone to give her permission to live fully. She has already been called, already been chosen, already been seen by the one who matters most. And so she rises, not just in strength, but in sacred responsibility. She knows her influence is generational. Her decisions ripple beyond the moment. Her tone, her attitude, her forgiveness, her resilience, these are sermons being preached to hearts that are watching. To daughters who will someday become women. To sons who will someday look for wives. To neighbors who wonder if there is still goodness in the world. She doesn't try to be everything, but she is always enough in the role God gave her. She makes space in her soul for joy, even in sorrow, for laughter, even in labor, for trust, even when things remain uncertain. She doesn't need to manipulate outcomes or control people. She knows who holds her future. She rests in the shadow of the Almighty, and that rest becomes her renewal. She pours out without burning out, because she draws from a well that never runs dry. Her days are not without struggle, but they are never without purpose. And in all of this, she is not glorified for being a woman who can do it all. She is honored because she does what matters. She keeps what is sacred. She honors what is eternal. She fears the Lord, and that fear becomes her foundation. That reverence becomes her rhythm. She doesn't just exist in this world, she blesses it. And because of her, the world becomes a little more whole, a little more hopeful, and a little more holy. She is not the sum of her accomplishments, nor the echo of others' opinions. Her worth is not a shifting shadow, dependent on mood, trend, or comparison. It is steady. It is set. It is spoken by the one who formed her in secret and knows her name even when no one else calls it. She is the kind of woman who can walk through fire and come out with faith intact, not because she was untouched by the flame, but because she was held in the midst of it. Her confidence does not come from knowing what will happen. It comes from knowing who is with her. When she serves, it is not to be seen. When she leads, it is not to dominate. When she loves, it is not to control. Everything she does flows from reverence. She does not seek to escape responsibility, but to embody it with grace. Even when the tasks are unseen, thankless, or exhausting, she stays faithful. She does not grow weary in doing good because she knows the harvest is holy. The hours may be long, but the purpose is longer. She does not resent her role, she redeems it. The world may look at her and wonder how she does it. The truth is she doesn't, God does, through her, with her, in her. She surrenders daily, she confesses often, she abides constantly. Her strength is not a trait, it is a testimony. Her wisdom is not instinct, it is intimacy with God. She is not simply surviving her life, she is sanctifying it, one conversation, one prayer, one act of mercy at a time. She doesn't need applause to know she's doing it right. She doesn't need an audience to walk in integrity. Her life is built on a deeper rhythm, a sacred steadiness that outlasts every storm. And when the day ends and no one sees all that she has done, she smiles. Because she was never doing it for them anyway. She was doing it for him. And he sees, he knows, and he calls her blessed. She is not exhausted because she's weak. She's exhausted because she pours. She gives without fanfare. She carries without complaint. She shows up, not because it's easy, but because it's right. And still, her eyes reflect heaven. Not because her life is perfect, but because her perspective is eternal. Her strength is not loud, but it is lasting. It endures sleepless nights, emotional valleys, and thankless seasons with the kind of quiet endurance that only heaven records. She is not admired because she makes no mistakes. She is admired because she keeps choosing love in a world that makes it difficult. Her discipline isn't rigid, it's radiant. Her correction isn't harsh, it's healing. She doesn't need to raise her voice to raise a standard. Her presence alone teaches others how to be faithful with what's been given. She does not strive for control over others, only mastery over herself. And that self-mastery is what frees her to love without expectation, to serve without resentment, and to rest without guilt. She holds the tension between mercy and truth, between patience and urgency. She knows when to speak and when to stay silent. She knows how to forgive without forgetting what she's learned. She doesn't pretend to be invincible. She knows her limits. But even in those limits, God works wonders. She does not hide her weariness from him. She brings it to the altar, and he makes it holy. What others see as ordinary, heaven sees as sacred. And she keeps going, not because she is never tired, but because grace meets her there. Her reward is not only in the life to come, but in the quiet peace she carries even now. She doesn't need to shout her testimony. It's written in how she lives, how she listens, how she lifts others even when no one lifts her. She is the echo of Proverbs 31, not because she has achieved every line, but because she has embodied the heart behind it, the fear of the Lord, the love of truth, and the steadfast pursuit of goodness in every season. She is the kind of woman who cannot be shaken, even when everything around her trembles. Not because she's untouched by fear, but because she knows how to fight it with faith. She meets hardship with prayer and faces uncertainty with praise. Her strength isn't something she wakes up feeling, it's something she chooses, moment by moment. When life feels heavy, she doesn't collapse beneath the weight. she leans into the one who promises to carry it with her. She isn't perfect, but she is principled. She makes mistakes, but she repents quickly and grows quietly. She does not hide behind excuses. She faces herself with honesty and lets God refine her in the hidden places. Her humility is not weakness. It is the soil where wisdom grows. She is teachable, even when she is tired. She is tender, even when she has every reason to become hard. And this softness, this steady heart, is what gives her strength that no one can steal. Her life is a kind of liturgy. Folding clothes becomes a prayer. Preparing meals becomes an act of worship. Holding a crying child becomes communion with the suffering Christ. She has learned that nothing done in love is ever wasted. Not the overlooked task, not the weary hour, not the silent sacrifice. Her home becomes a sanctuary, not because it's perfect, but because she fills it with peace. Her presence becomes healing, not because she fixes everything, but because she carries stillness into the room. The world doesn't always notice her. The spotlight doesn't always find her, but heaven does. And when she stands before God, she won't hold up a list of trophies. She will offer the fruit of her life, the heart she nurtured, the truth she lived, the love she gave without conditions. And God, who saw it all, will say what the world forgot to: well done. She is not an ideal to be worshipped, but a reality to be honored. She is not a myth carved into ancient text. She is living among us, quietly transforming the world one soul at a time. She walks the same streets we do, shops in the same stores, stands in the same checkout lines, and yet her life is set apart. Not because of status, but because of surrender. Not because of perfection, but because of purpose. She is what happens when a woman decides that faith will shape her footsteps and love will be her legacy. She is the echo of Eden and the promise of heaven. The world may grow darker, but she glows with quiet light, the kind that doesn't flicker in storms. She lives for the unseen and plants for the future. She is the bridge between generations, the whisper of wisdom in a young woman's heart, the steady voice of encouragement behind her children, the anchor in a home that might otherwise drift. And all of this she does without applause, without spotlight, without needing to be told she matters, because she already knows. God told her, she is the woman of Proverbs 31, not unreachable, not untouchable, but real, rising, redeemed. She is the strength behind the scenes and the heart behind the harvest. And though the world may forget her name, heaven will never forget her faith. Her story is not one of glory, but of grace, a grace that clothed her, carried her, crowned her, and called her blessed. She is a living invitation to a higher way. While the world applauds performance, she walks in presence. While the world scrambles for success, she kneels in surrender. Her wisdom isn't from books or trends. It flows from time spent in quiet with the Lord. She listens before she speaks.